Hey, what's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. We got a big video today to go over some recent news and some new things as well. So first up, we've shared by Generation Infinity. This is an absolute must-watch. I will link this in the top of the YouTube video description. It's a 2-hour interview. I know a lot of people aren't going to watch it with the attention span nowadays thanks to TikTok, but really good information here. This is Chris Giancarlo. He's the former CFTC chairman. I know we've seen him before in many interviews. He's an advisor heavily involved in the blockchain space, and he has some really interesting insights. So this was an awesome interview. Huge thank you to Ryan and Darren Moore for hosting this. This is an absolute gem. I'm just going to play a 1-minute clip, and I'll link the full interview in the top of the YouTube video description for anybody interested.
Well, anyway, not long after that, I read the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper, and I had this eureka moment where I realized, imagine if all those credit default swaps had actually been recorded on a distributed ledger. The Federal Reserve would have known in real time, not the total gross amount, but the net amount. And it's really the net amount of obligations that were really the issue. The net amount of a failure of Lehman Brothers was not 400 billion. That was the gross amount. The net amount was less than 9 billion. If we knew in September of 08 that a failure of Lehman Brothers would have triggered less than $9 billion of payments of the other banks, we could have let Lehman fail. We could have put it up for sale. The Fed could have bailed it out. The policy choices would have been so much greater. And more importantly, the transparency into its actual exposure would not have triggered the market panic that caused the crisis. So imagine if those liabilities had been recorded on a blockchain. And so for me, that was the eureka moment. Anyway,
so that's directly from the former CFTC chairman about his eureka moment in the value add of blockchain. They cover a bunch of interesting topics in this one. We know that Chris Giancarlo is also a speaker at Ripple Swell before, and he also discusses the possibility of XRP futures. We also had Dan Moorhead. He is the founder over at Pantera Capital with a blockchain letter, and it says this: there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. I've been investing in Bitcoin and blockchain for over a decade. Nothing happened at the SEC in the presidential administrations the entire time. A decade's worth of rational thinking just happened in a few weeks. It's like the shockwave of a sonic boom. 10 years of correct thinking is crashing through politics right now. In May, one of the presidential candidates threw his support behind blockchain. Weeks later, 2 of the 3 presidential candidates, 10 United States senators, and members of the US House of Representatives were at a Bitcoin conference. The change is absolutely massive. I'm sure you guys have seen this, but just in case, this is really big news for iPhones, and not just USDC, but the entire crypto space. So Jeremy Allaire is the founder of Circle. We know USDC, the stablecoin, and Circle being a compliant firm with the MiCA regulatory framework in the European Union. So we had USDC, the US dollar. We also have the Euro coin, is 2 compliant stablecoins. So he says, tap to pay using USDC on iPhones incoming soon. Wallet devs, start your engines. And what did he mean by this? So he actually clarifies in this tweet. Why is tap to pay using USDC on iPhones incoming soon, and what does it mean for wallet devs to get going? Circle has no relationship with Apple, and this has nothing to do with Apple Pay. The news article, which you should read, spells out what Apple is doing, which is opening up the use of the NFC chip to third-party app developers. So they're finally opening up. This is a really big deal. And NFC chips stand for the near-field communication. That's the technology where you can make secure transactions and exchange things and just connect electronic devices with a touch or a tap. So until Apple did this, the only payments app or wallet that could use NFC on iPhones was Apple's Wallet and Apple Pay. So it was a closed system. So they're opening up the doors, and we can see by opening up this capability to developers or wallet apps, for example, Web3 wallets and crypto wallets will be able to invoke NFC for transactions. So now this is not something that happens overnight. We have to have developers get involved with the SDKs, but this is likely coming not just for USDC, but other stablecoins and other crypto networks. So he just explains right here what blockchain address it will accept USDC on. So just pushing USDC as he is the CEO of Circle, the amount to pay, and then the iPhone-based wallet could prompt the user to confirm the payment with a tap or Face ID. This will open up a powerful pathway for direct-to-merchant USDC payments. And like he says, this applies to a lot of things outside of USDC. He's just really pushing USDC, NFTs for tickets, other certificates, we have stablecoins, etc. We also had right here, shared by MetaMask, introducing the MetaMask card. So MetaMask is one of the most popular wallets in the crypto space. So we can see the world's first MasterCard debit card that enables instant spending directly from your self-custody wallet. We've teamed up with MasterCard and Banks Group to bridge the gap between crypto and daily life. So this card allows us to make purchases directly from our wallet with our crypto instantly converted to fiat currency. So we can use this for everyday spending via Apple Pay and Google Wallet. And at the same time, retaining full control of our funds until the moments of transaction. We can see right here a select number of users in the European Union and the UK will be the first to experience the seamless crypto spending directly from their MetaMask wallet wherever MasterCard is accepted. So really good to see this, knowing that MetaMask is the #1 wallet. There are other applications like this today, but I want to see MetaMask succeed and then expand to other nations or countries, and then that paves the way for other networks and other wallets as well. Looking at the adoption of crypto, it's easiest to compare different things that we've seen in the past, like the rise of the internet, and just comparing the email to MetaMask or a crypto wallet. So back in the 70s, email was pretty much just used for academics and institutions doing different type of research, and then it started to expand as domain name systems or DNS started going in the 80s. We also had ISPs or internet service providers expanding, and then in the late 80s and early 90s, almost everybody started having an email. At least by the late 90s with AOL, email was the standard, and especially in the 2000s, we had complete mainstream adoption. So if you think about it, since the inception or the creation of the email in 1971 or 1970s, it took 25 years to become really mainstream, and the last 10 to 15 years was the big internet boom. So Bitcoin came to be in 2009, so we've been around for a while, and the growth of the crypto asset class is growing way faster than the rise of the internet, as Raul has shared before with crypto users versus internet users. And any nascent asset class is insanely volatile. We've seen huge levels of expansion or bull runs and then mega bear markets and 90% crashes. Some are shorter, some are longer, but we see the same thing happen over again, rinse and repeat. And I still consider the crypto asset class to be a nascent asset class with a lot of upside potential, because when you compare it to the other major asset classes, say crypto's at around $2 trillion. When you compare the stock market, the bond market, the real estate market, the derivatives market, all of those are over $100 trillion. So for anybody to say that the crypto asset class can't create a new all-time price, surpass 3 trillion, go to 5 trillion, go past 10 trillion plus, when you compare the size of the other asset classes that are all over 100 trillion, I think that's crazy. It's absolutely possible. Alright, next up, big thank you to XRP Yoda for sending this to me a while back. I just didn't do a video in time to cover this, but I'm sure you guys have seen this. We can see right here, listings of XRP US dollar futures contracts. Let me zoom in a bit. So this is from Binomial Exchange. Next up, so we also know this news, and they just came out with a recent article, Ripple and Archax, a new era for the XRP ledger with real-world asset tokenization. So they announced this earlier this year. We can see set to bring hundreds of millions of dollars worth of tokenized real-world assets to the XRP ledger. So you can learn more at archax.com if you are curious. I believe we can find it under businesses. Let me see, invest. And as we can see here, we have Aberdeen. This is a huge wealth manager that sits on Hedera's governing council. We also have BlackRock, so different types of US dollar funds. We have treasury funds, etc. Here's a quick clip of Graham Rodford. He's the CEO over at Archax.
6 years ago, we thought everything was moving onto a blockchain, and now everyone's sure that it's going to happen. So every day more than the last, I see more and more moving on chain. We've built an exchange, 24/7 matching engine, and a tokenization platform, and we've just introduced XRPO onto that. So what that means is every fund that we have available on our platform, every security in the world that we can custody can now be brought to XRPL. We've got a lot of money market funds out there at the moment. We've got Aberdeen and BlackRock funds available on our website. And there's also a series of investment managers that are coming along and will be available on XRPL. Many stable coins are using us to manage their reserves. A lot of companies are giving us their assets to be able to safekeep for them. Over the next few years, I think you're going to see mainstream instruments like equities and debt from large issuers being brought on chain. I think you will start to see some of the sandbox projects from the various regulators transition into clearinghouses and CSDs. So in the next 3 years, you'll see more issuances on chain. Then with a 5 to 10 year view, I think we'll start to see a seismic shift for the traditional world back onto the chain side.
Alright guys, last but not least, we'll keep this video short and sweet. For anybody interested in the AI space, I highly recommend watching this interview on Thinking Crypto's YouTube channel from a while back discussing the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance with the ASI token. So Tony over at Thinking Crypto had an interview a while back with the CEO and founder of Fetch AI. It was a really interesting conversation just discussing the commercialization and the potential for AI. And earlier this year, they announced the ASI Alliance. So, what is the Artificial Superintelligence Alliance? This is a collective formed by Fetch AI with its token FET, we have SingularityNet with its token AGIX, and Ocean Protocol with its token Ocean, and they're all merging. So, this is a really interesting concept. I'm curious if this is going to be successful because if so, perhaps we're going to see other networks maybe collaborate or even do merges like this in the future. So this is the largest open-sourced independent entity in AI research and development. This alliance aims to accelerate the advancement of decentralized artificial general intelligence AGI and ultimately artificial superintelligence ASI. So definitely interesting in the AI space. We know different assets in the AI sector. You could argue a bunch in DeepIn also have AI use cases, but just thinking of BitTensor with Tau and then of course Fetch. So it's definitely interesting watching how big the AI space has grown since the inception of ChatGPT and different LLMs or large language models. So the potential is there. We don't know how big this space is going to be. And keep in mind that Bitcoin is the only asset in the crypto space that has ever surpassed a $1 trillion market cap. Not even Ethereum has done that just yet. And I know a lot more people are interested in taking different bets on microcaps in the gaming and AI space, and it's high risk, high reward. This is just one of the bigger or largest market caps in this space in the AI sector. We don't know how well it could perform over the long term if this merge is completed successfully, but it's interesting because these three projects are merging all of the resources and capabilities. So because in the interview, they basically emphasize Fetch has been around for 5 years, give or take, and it did have limitations, but it had a really good use case. So with Fetch having different autonomous agents performing different decentralized tasks, we have Ocean, of course, with the data exchange, and then we also have SingularityNet with the AI marketplace. So they're pulling all of these resources together, and this is really interesting. And in the interview, he does make a great point because now they can service a bunch of things, and if they work with different companies, the company doesn't need multiple tokens. They can do everything with ASI, or at least that's the vision. So just wanted to share that for anybody interested. I believe the sum of these three projects today has a $2 billion market cap, so that might be high for some, and we don't know how low this goes or if this migration is going to be completed successfully. But if this is already a top AI project. It would be interesting to see how this performs over the long term with the adoption of AI. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button and sharing your thoughts down below. As always, you can find all links, including resources for charting, trading bots, platforms, wallets, portfolio trackers, and exclusive discounts in my link tree at the top of the video description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.